For coming out tonight. We've got a full house here. Love to see it. You guys showing up for yourselves, for your health, and for your family. This is why we do this. I certainly don't take it for granted that you're spending your time with us. I know how valuable that is, and how precious time is, especially on Thanksgiving Eve week, right? I could come up with all sorts of excuses to not show up tonight, but definitely proud of you guys for showing up for yourselves, and everything that you get out of tonight, you can pass along to your spouse, maybe if they're not here, a friend, family member, coworker, somebody who really needs to hear this information, because we're going to cover a lot of good stuff tonight, and I could not be more excited to have you guys with us, just because we really do take a lot of pride in really empowering our patients and the families to really take health into their own hands. There's really nothing more important than that, just because once we all know somebody, we've maybe lost somebody to health, or like when health's gone downhill, then it becomes our number one priority, right? So if we can get ahead of that, and that'll make a huge difference. And especially with a topic like tonight, sleep really is so important. I would put it even above, well, it's tough, but I put it even above nutrition, exercise, and some of those things. Just because if you're not sleeping well, a lot of other things don't go very well in life. So tonight we're going to really dive into a lot of important things when it comes to how to sleep well, sleep better, get better quality sleep. I don't think anybody here negates the fact that sleep's important. Like, most people know they should sleep, or sleep longer usually, or go to bed earlier. But we're going to also cover a lot of ways that we can improve our overall sleep, our overall sleep quality, because that's going to really make a massive difference as well. So it's good to see some familiar faces here. I've seen some people at the last like 3 or 4 workshops in a row. So hats off to you guys. You guys are crushing it. I mean, you don't have to answer, but has anybody taken one thing away from one of the last workshops that like really made a big difference, and you care to share with other people? Anything that you're like, oh, I didn't know that, and then like switched it up and tried something new? Anybody want to share? All right, I'll give you another chance later on, but thought I could throw you on the spot there, but we've heard a lot of good things, especially in the adjusting bays when we're talking to people that have lost 5 pounds in a month. One person has said they lost 10 pounds since our gut workshop. So some really good things there, better energy, people starting to work out again, less stress. Like, I mean, we've heard a lot of really cool things. So I know you're out there. I won't call you out personally, but yeah, we love those testimonials. So for those of you who don't know me, though, my name's Dr. Justin, one of the doctors in the office here. We've got 4 of us. You might have seen Dr. Peter, Natalie, or Dr. Colin, but we love to team up and do these workshops together, these seminars, just to bring more value to your guys' lives and really help you out as much as we possibly can. It really means a lot to us. And so this really is, I mean, my life's mission, and literally what I wake up thinking about and go to bed thinking about. You could ask a lot of people close to me that is all I talk about, is like health stuff, right? So it's been that way for a long time. I've always been that nerd, for sure. I always wanted to be a doctor. Didn't realize that, well, I won't go into all of it, but it didn't hit me until I was applying for med schools that going down the chiropractic route was going to serve me better and being able to help my patients from, to me, a more meaningful, deeper level, really being able to reach people at a level where they can now empower themselves and take care of their own health, rather than being constrained to essentially a time clock, the insurance companies, hospital protocols, and other things that hold us back in really getting the results that we deserve. So that's why we love having each and every one of you in the office. I know it's a commitment and a different one, and taking your health in your own hands and going down a different route. So yeah, love that. But before we jump into things, we need to cover really important things here first. Some really important facts that we need to dive into. So This is one that I came across when I started researching. People might not be so different either. I think, if you got your significant other, you need a little of that. There's actually a lot of research behind close touch and the release of oxytocin. Has anybody ever heard of oxytocin before? So close contact touch with a loved one or significant other actually helps bonding and actually helps relaxation and parasympathetic response in the body. So there's your fun, nerdy fact of the beginning here. Anybody want to throw out a wild guess on the world's record for the number of days, nights without going to bed? So,
11.
Oh, geez, that's good. That was quick. 11. Dang, I thought somebody was gonna be like 4. I'd be like, gotcha. This was back in 1964. Did you know that? Jeez. For like a world, Randy, for a science fair project. By day 3, he was hallucinating and paranoid, cognitively impaired, rightfully so. I don't know how you make it those other days. Do you know any more to the story?
I just knew it from the psychology class.
Dang, you were listening. World record. Now everybody knows Randy is the guy that stayed up for 11 days. So 75% of people dream in color these days. Before color TV, only about 15% of people did. That might be a made-up fact, but I like it. So, we'll keep going. So, sleep, is it really that important? There are 300,000 studies just in PubMed about sleep. So there are obviously a lot of interest in it. And it's kind of one of those things like smoking. You guys know, like back in the day, they used to promote smoking for even pregnant ladies, and just doctors used to recommend it for people to relax. And there was a lot of industry agenda behind that. But it took about 7,000 studies, peer-reviewed studies, before they finally came out with warnings, right? Like smoking could cause cancer. So sometimes you got to think for yourself a little bit before you follow just the mainstream advice. I think most of us, like I said, realize sleep is important. Sometimes you don't need a bunch of studies to tell you that, but I know we have some numbers people around here who really like numbers, and this helps solidify things a little bit more, though, to give you some more incentive to get some more restful sleep. So, quite honestly, sleeping, ideally, most of us, since there's mostly adults in the room, we need to be ideally sleeping somewhere 7, 8, 9 hours a night. All of us are going to be a little different with our sleep cycles, but sleeping less than that really has a huge impact on the body. You guys can take pictures and do whatever you want. I know there's going to be some slides with a lot of information on it, but chronically depriving yourself of sleep is one thing, but even getting one or a few nights of just less sleep can really have a dramatic impact on the body. Just even one night of 4 to 5 hours sleep reduces your insulin sensitivity by up to 25%. There's some other ones here that have to do with like weight gain. Sleeping less than 6 hours increased likelihood of obesity by almost 90% in adults. And so, I could throw out all sorts of, and I will, information about, how sleeping can impact mortality and your cognitive thinking and performance, but these are the ones that a lot of times are a big motivator for people, right? Like just sleeping more can help your waistline and even the amount, your metabolism, how well your metabolism functions, how well your body processes your blood sugar. So, even just a couple nights of reduced sleep can impact your body so much that you can even be pre-diabetic within a week. So just by sleeping more, you can dramatically improve your overall health. And increase stress hormones like cortisol levels by almost 40%, which most of us don't need help with added stress in our lives, right? Like we already have enough. Some studies show that we spend about 70% of our daily time in a stressed sympathetic state. So adding 40% more cortisol to our plate really pushes us over the edge with a lot of things. And then, maybe take yourself back to college, and not that all of you were this college student, but just say maybe you had friends, right? Like you're staying up late, you're out on the town, maybe you're up past midnight. Do you guys go to the restaurant, when you've got those munchies? Do you go and get like a nice big salad? Or do you go, yeah, you're right, yep, that's what I did. Nice big green leafy salad, made all the grilled chicken, did all the healthy choice, or did you go for pizza, right? Yeah, most of us went for pizza, the fried food, the really sugary foods, right? And that's not entirely your fault, because when we're deprived of sleep, we're stressed, right? What do you actually start craving, right? When your body's in that sympathetic state, we're going to start craving sugary, more starchy foods, and some of that's a hormonal response too. So that's what ghrelin and leptin are for, and I won't dive really deep into that, but you actually increase ghrelin, your hunger hormone, by as much as 30%, and leptin, which tells you your body that you're full, will actually decrease by 20%. As we age, by not getting enough sleep, we actually increase our risk of muscle loss, so like lean tissue, lean muscle. And a lot of us know that it's important to keep that muscle, right? And typically as we age, that muscle and that lean mass tend to decrease. And a lot of us like to blame that on bad luck or genes or just getting old, but a lot of times it's just like not using those muscles as much, and that's a bigger factor. So, but when you compound the lack of movement with an exercise, now with like being sleep deprived, you actually increase that by 2 times. So pretty wild. And then we got to think about our kids, right? So our kids actually need more sleep than adults. And they've done various studies showing that what happens when kids don't get enough sleep. And this is pretty concerning, right? And just because what happens when kids have concentration problems in school, or they have more aggression or impulse issues, right? Like they can't concentrate, can't focus, what typically path do they go down? Right, now they're in counseling, they're, right, like they're kind of, well, we don't, you guys kind of get it, but like I have quite a few teachers in the office here, a couple counselors, and a few different therapists, and they just talk about more lifestyle stuff and how that's making such a huge impact on kids' concentration and their ability to focus and learn in school. And so, I mean, this is like the easiest step to address is just by sleeping a little bit more. And improving sleep can dramatically improve all these things, right? Like there's no drug on the planet that can improve all that to the same degree, let alone without the nasty side effects. So, putting kids on ADHD medications and things like that's not the fix, right? Like that's covering up symptoms. It's covering up underlying issues that are causing those symptoms. So again, these are certainly important things, because when almost a third of our country has sleep disorders, and most people actually are undiagnosed, so there's probably more than that, 100 million people, or even more than 100 million people, not even getting enough sleep. Like this is affecting all of us. One study even showed a 30 billion loss in annual costs of workplace errors and accidents lead to insomnia. So, all right, you guys got enough numbers in yet? Keep bringing them on. All right. So when it comes to this time of year, right? Like what do we call the fall season? We start getting into the flu season. You guys, like it's flu season. Thing is, like the flu doesn't just decide to show up in the fall or in the early winter, right? Like it doesn't just pick its time to travel across the world to Minnesota randomly. It's always circulating, always going around, but this time of year, we just make ourselves a lot more susceptible to actually getting sick, our immune system, impacting our immune system. We did an entire workshop on immunity and our immune system a couple workshops ago. Dove really deep in all this. But things that commonly impact our immune system being, high levels of sugar, high levels of stress, lack of sunshine, lack of sleep, right? And sleep makes a huge impact on this, making you 3 times more susceptible to catching a cold. So if you don't want to become another just statistic or become a part of the flu season, sleep a little more. When it comes to, you guys heard of growth hormone before? Maybe, yeah. So growth hormone isn't just something that maybe you've heard of, like those big gym guys like injecting into themselves, right? It's actually something your body naturally produces, and most of that is produced at night. So a good majority of that is produced a couple times throughout the night, and if you are not sleeping properly or well during those times, or you keep waking up, you're actually impacting your body's release of things like growth hormone. And maybe you've heard of testosterone. So another big one, right? Like a lot of people are going on testosterone therapy and injecting testosterone. And same thing there. Most of your testosterone is actually released and produced and utilized in your body at night. So if we're impacting that system, it's pretty hard for our body to utilize testosterone properly. During deep sleep cycles, have you guys heard of your lymphatic system? Okay. So your brain has something called your glymphatic system. It's initiated by your glial cells in your brain. It's how your body actually removes toxins, circulates toxins or metabolites out of your brain. And so if those metabolites, those toxins in your brain aren't flushed out properly, we start building those toxins up. And that can lead to things like neurodegenerative type of thing, like dementia, Alzheimer's, those types of things. So the better we can sleep and help that glymphatic system flush out, the healthier our brain can be over time too. And there was a study showing that not getting enough sleep actually increases your chances of heart disease by 50% and your chances of getting a stroke by 15%. So yeah, I mean, we could keep going on and on and on. So if you really just want to make the biggest impact on your health overall, let's sleep better, right? So let's jump into that. I think this is kind of the biggest point I could make, is that they're really, somebody's asked me let's keep pulling you up here, what would be my biggest insight or biggest even tip on sleep. And the unfortunate thing is that it's really not sexy. Like there is no like hidden secret to sleep. Most of them are actually probably obvious or things that you guys have thought of, but maybe just haven't put enough emphasis on, or I mean, it's human nature to not want to stick to some of these things. So I'm going to give you some of the biggest tips, some of the biggest things that are going to make a difference in your life. But just know that you already have the most important things already in you, already set. Like you already have that within every single cell of your body, and we just have to remove the interferences to that happening and allow your body to function as best as possible. Because the problem is that we self-sabotage our own sleep here. So if I were to mess up your sleep, what types of things would I do? Does anybody want to start? Like, what do you think's a big?
Drink
coffee. Yeah, that would do it. That would do it, all right. Yeah, we're going to talk about coffee, talk about caffeine. Yep. Anybody else got one? Yeah, noise, excess noise, ambient noise, yep.
Social media.
Yeah. Not alone, yeah, screens alone are a big deal, but then you add in the social media and the stress that brings. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Watching the news.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to fix your stress issues. There was like a thing on social media that I saw. Was like, I fixed my parents' stress issues. I put parental controls on their news channels or something like that. Not a bad idea. Yeah, so that pretty much covers a lot of them. So we're going to dive into a lot more of those, including a lot of nutrition things that can help as well, and just help you along. So a lot of questions I do get is like, whether or not like medications are indeed bad or good for you, or when I should use them or if I should use them. That's not my exact special. I could tell you what I would do. I would want to fix the cause first, right, and then work from there. Most sleep issues have a cause, so there are those outstanding cases, and it's interesting, I guess, talking to a big room of people, right, because you all have been on different journeys. Some of you have done a ton of things already to try to help your sleep, and it's really impressive, and I've even learned a couple things from you guys. Some of you just are starting on this journey, so we're going to touch as many things as possible. But when it comes, the average person sees 9 medication commercials a day, hours and hours worth in just a year. We're one of 2 countries that allow pharmaceutical, direct pharmaceutical to consumer advertising in the world, us in New Zealand. So most countries, people just aren't exposed to as much influence, we'll say, as we are. It's a big business and a lot of money goes into it. Actually, a lot more money goes into, a ton more, exponentially more money goes into advertising and marketing than it does to research from this pharmaceutical company. So your mind and your perception is being bought, essentially. Some of us even work in the pharmaceutical or insurance world and see firsthand how that shapes and influences people's minds. And so you got to advocate for yourself, right? We see all these different things and you just assume that this is the fix, right? And it's a nice idea, just pop a pill, right? And all your problems are fixed. The interesting thing is that most, especially with sleep medications, most trials or the FDA only recommends a lot of these things to go on, to be taken for 7 to 10 days. The average in the research, the average person actually takes sleep medications for 30 to 45 days. And then a lot of people just stay on them for a lot longer. So most people are not even taking them as technically recommended or as they were studied. And the thing is, nobody's doing a ton to fix that, right? Because, technically it is a business, right? It is about profits, and it's wild. The pharmaceutical countries there's research development. There's even 1,500 different lobbyists, probably more than that now, in just in our government, and not turn this into a political issue. It's unfortunate that it has to be a political issue nowadays, but it's not fair when it comes to your health. Just in the sleep industry alone, it's an $86 billion industry. It's projected to double that in the next 10 years. So it's a huge industry, and they don't want that to go away, right? So unfortunately, things that you can't patent, natural compounds, right? Foods, approaches to your health, just lifestyle changes, you can't put a patent on that, you can't sell that, right? And so that's kind of the problem there. This is essentially the way that, I guess most people's health is managed just based on symptoms, and you're put in certain categories, depending on what type of sleep issues you have, and then there's the drug for it. So usually with our health, it's just a much bigger picture than that, right? You guys learned and been trained already to look from all different aspects, right? We call it the 5 essentials of health in terms of nutrition, movement, exercise, and oxygen that you're getting, stress, your mindset, relationships, community, all of that's important too, and the toxins we're surrounded by, and of course your nervous system. So that's more how we look at it in terms of what aspects of that are dysfunctional and how can we improve that function over time. And so any medication, even Tylenol, Advil, all of, yeah.
What do you think about melatonin?
Oh yeah, that's a good one. Yeah, so I do have that later, but while we're on it, melatonin would be a super common, that is the most common thing that people think about when it comes to taking something for sleep. That one is it's obviously not like your body produces that. You actually produce 400 times more melatonin in your gut than in your brain, which most people didn't know until recently. So it's natural. It acts as a hormone in your body. So that's where it's a little more iffy, is it good to take long-term or not? They've shown that long-term use doesn't necessarily inhibit your body from producing more like they used to rumors used to say, we'll just say the sensors in your body, like the cells, the sensor receptors, just become more dull to it. So that's where, like, I think it's a good tool in the right time and place. Like, let's say you just need to get your sleep back on track, and you need to maybe knock yourself out for a night or maybe a few nights in a row, but not to, like, use it as a crutch. Kind of like most things, right? Like, a little balance there is helpful. But yeah, that would be a much better option than, like, going for Ambien or benzodiazepine. Yeah. So yeah, definitely a much better transition to start going down that route. Good question. So most people just don't realize that, like, a lot of these sleep medications, they create dependency by lowering, affecting your GABA receptors and different things like that, and they also increase, like, chances of and risks of certain types of cancer and just your sleep patterns and circadian rhythms over time too. So it's something you can look up and would certainly want to look into. And the problem also with just purely, like, sedating yourself, essentially knocking yourself out versus naturally sleeping. Like, sleep meds might put you to sleep, but they impact, like, your deep sleep cycles. So we talked about how your brain naturally detoxifies itself, and then different hormones are releasing, so you're not going to get the same healing response from your body. And so you're getting much less of these things. They've even done studies, like, long-term use of, like, certain sleep medications increase your mortality risk by quite a bit, so your chances of death overall. There's certainly some other interesting things, if you want to dive in. Plenty there. But we're gonna move on to the more interesting things, like what you can actually do to make a big difference here. So, question? No. Okay. So for a long time, in pretty much every culture on the planet, people have cherished sleep and what it does for us and how it can improve our lives. And so here are some different cultures and what they would do to address sleep issues and improve overall sleep. And the interesting thing is, it's a combination of all these are essentially things that I'll be talking about and will recommend. And so really old ancient traditions and cultural traditions are things that we now have, like, science to back, but really make a huge impact on people's life. So has anybody heard of the I was hoping one of my other patients wasn't able to make it. He's Danish and also German, but can tell me a lot more about this. I think it's pronounced Huga? Huga, right? I always want to say Hygie. Huga, right? Danish? Can you tell us all about this?
I can't tell you all about it, but I do know something about it.
Yeah.
I've read quite a bit about it, but it's just relaxing evening rituals. Whether it's just low light, no phone,
Imagine that.
Yeah. I actually have mine set to turn, turn off. Rather than text, but just kind of take a couple hours or an hour, relax, and get a cozy blanket.
Yeah.
A nice spot.
Yeah.
And just kind of let your mind read, or just kind of let your mind relax a little bit.
Perfect.
Put on the fireplace.
Yeah. All the things you think about doing if you were to think about creating a relaxing atmosphere.
Just a Hallmark movie.
Yeah. Just a Hallmark movie. Yeah. Comfortable clothing.
Oh, yeah.
Open up a window to just let circulate fresh air in, even during the winter. So, some really easy things to do. So that would be a fun thing for you to look up, is just, like, how to create more of a Huga environment. So here's an interesting concept here. When it comes to issues with sleeping, a lot of people kind of fall in one of two categories. Either you have trouble falling asleep, or trouble either staying asleep or just randomly waking up in the middle of the night. So We won't dive into all the ins and outs of this, but trouble falling asleep typically has a few things related to this, where usually I would say relates to a lot of your like maybe lifestyle choices or just the atmosphere you're creating before bed or even earlier in the day. And so a lot of those are easy to address, and I think those are easier to fix, is like your ability to fall asleep, helping your brain turn off, doing certain things. There's a lot of things we're going to talk about when it comes to light and sleep schedule and things like that are going to just help set up your sleep schedule a lot better. Waking up in the middle of the night, that's a pretty common one. I know a lot of people are here because of that one. That's going to have a little more deeper reasons for that, and a lot of it is more metabolic in nature and just how our body's hormones are functioning. Even our gut is functioning for a lot of different reasons. Some like melatonin, we just talked about that, can be suppressed. Melatonin is your body's natural hormone to put your body in that relaxed sleep state, right? Like melatonin is the one that's really triggering that. We just do a lot of things in our everyday lives now that mess all that up. So we're going to talk about ways to naturally improve your melatonin cycles. But yeah, we want to be able to regulate our blood sugar better, help our gut, and just improve our overall metabolic health to help with just staying asleep throughout the night. And so when it comes to sleep, we talked a little bit about this, but we have different stages. Does anybody wear a watch and actually track these? Yeah, so some interesting things there, right? To know what stages of sleep you're hitting, what you're not hitting, and how like your different lifestyle choices can actually impact that too. So that's where like wearing an Oura ring or different watches that can tell you those sleep stages, just because we go through these throughout the night, and if you're not hitting one of those, it can kind of give some insight to maybe what's happening. But they're all important actually. So usually we all go through 5 to 6 of these cycles every night. They're about 90 minutes. Stage 1's where you're just starting to doze off. That doesn't last too long, 5-10 minutes. Stage 2 is actually where your body temp drops. So some of us can fluctuate as much as 2 degrees. So a lot of times you hear about your body temperature being 98.6, right? Like that's actually just an average across a lot of people. All of us fluctuate body temperature throughout the day. It needs to drop for your body to essentially go into more of a parasympathetic healing state, right? Like your brain essentially paralyzes you at night, right? Like that's why you're not flailing all over the place unless, well, sometimes people get up and sleepwalk. That's a whole different thing, but you only have a couple different muscles that work when, or voluntary muscles that work when you're sleeping, like your eyelids. And so you have different changes in blood pressure, your breathing rate slows down, and then during REM sleep, stage 3, this is your deepest sleep and when most of that healing stage occurs, when your body's doing a lot of those healing processes. And then REM sleep is kind of, you can think of that as more of a reset for your brain and for your mind. That's when your body's going to consolidate a lot of memories and really refresh just your brain, your mind, and process like emotions and stressful experiences, and help your body and your brain work through that over time. So this is like from one of those sleep trackers. Wasn't even mine. I don't know. I mean, they're in bed for 10 hours. Like, I don't know if I've ever done that. It's impressive. So the first thing, of course, we got to talk about when it comes to getting good restful sleep is just taking into account your stress. So that's why I had you fill out a couple of these, right? Just to take into account how much stress you're putting on your body throughout the day, throughout the week, right? All of us have this bucket that we're constantly filling up. You can't avoid it nowadays, even if, and nor would you want to. Stress is a good thing. It helps us be successful, helps us carry out tasks, helps us get things done. But there's a lot of things we also can't control. So we have kind of all sorts of things just piling in at the same time. So social media up here, right? The news, got to be up there somewhere. Cost of living, money, groceries, relationships, health issues, conflict, business, your work, and politics, all this stuff. So all of that's going to be constantly coming into the bucket, right? And so there's ways to mitigate and manage that. We'll call that healthy coping. So that's how your body's getting rid of that, actually taking care of that stress, resetting that every day. You're not continuously going through those cycles over and over again. What we don't want to do is continuously recycle all of that stress back into the bucket, right? Then things start filling up. And, usually we're going to have some amount of water in here, right? Like some amount of stress. But what happens when it starts to get towards the top, right? Then all it takes is just one more event to start spilling over. Just takes that one wrong comment from your coworker to now you're down their throat and they're like, whoa, what happened? Or you take it back home with you and you're, yelling at the dog, I don't know. So, yeah, or your immune system takes a hit. Now you're catching a cold and you no idea why. Nobody else in your house is getting sick. Why is it you? Or you start gaining weight and you don't know why. Like when our body's under excess stress all the time chronically, we're not meant to survive in that state. And that's where it's pretty tough for our body to keep going on. So these are good things to just take note of and deal with over time.
So what if you're so stressed that you don't even know that you're stressed? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is there a way to tell when you're too stressed?
Yeah, it's good to take inventory.
Your level of stress is
Right.
probably not at a good.
Right, yeah. No, that's great. I mean, I think the longer you focus on these things, you can become more aware of it. Like if your mind's racing at night and you can't get to, if we're going to keep the topic more on sleep, it's hard to get to sleep, that would be a great example of just carrying that stress with you throughout the day without unloading that first before getting into bed, Like I said, just feeling brain fog or fatigue throughout the day, or just your motivation isn't there either, or you're not feeling inspired. All that stress really bogs down on your nervous system, and you just don't have the same drive or desire. It can wear down on even your dopamine levels or things that would normally keep you more focused or driven. So kind of taking an inventory maybe at the end of the day or even the beginning of the day when your mind's fresh, just or writing down even there's so many ways to handle stress, I guess, without getting too much into that, but learning ways that work for you to manage that stress and recognize it, know how to get through it, see it as a good thing maybe even, and not just a burden. Some things are, can't get around it, it just is a burden, but if you can turn that stress into even gratitude or something, you'll have a completely different response at the end of the day, and it won't continue coming with you as well. So most of us keep driving. I mean, that's just the society we're in too. We're told to just keep going. You keep striving, you don't stop, right? And so, good to be taking inventory on a regular basis on how you're doing physically, mentally, emotionally, kind of just all across all. And stress just plays a role into all of that because, 75% of emergency room visits or primary care visits are stress related in the first place. And I saw somewhere over 40%, you have a 40% increased risk of premature death, so dying early, just by perceived stress, by perceiving that your life is more stressful than maybe it is, but perceived stress is a lot more detrimental than I guess not perceiving stress. So ways to, probably one of the easiest ways to mitigate that, getting your body moving, getting your heart pumping, breathing hard. It's pretty hard to really focus on what life threw at you that day when you're exercising, especially if you're exercising hard, right? Like if you're going at it, like you're not going to be focused on whatever your coworker said to you or, like what your kids were doing earlier that day to make you mad. Like getting your body moving or playing like even a sport like playing pickleball, like you're not focused on it. Like it's an easy way to offload some of that stress, get your body moving. Like your body's naturally producing endorphins and good neurotransmitters to help your brain. So it's a really easy way to offset that stress, but also improve your sleep quality too. So timing your exercise can make a big impact. Doing it towards the beginning of the day, more of like a high intensity workout. So like getting your heart rate up, breathing hard, sweating, like that would be like a high intensity workout. Can really help reset your circadian rhythms. Anybody heard of circadian rhythms before? So that's like your internal clock that your body is working on. So, so that's going to reinforce a good circadian rhythm for your body, and actually improve all those different stages of sleep, especially your deep sleep. So when you're getting exercise, your body's able to get into those deep sleep states a lot better. Doing even a little movement in the end of the day can be helpful. I would say like trying to avoid like super high intensity workouts like late at night. Within a couple hours of bed, even within 3 hours of bed, would be ideal not to do that. Some gentle movement is super helpful, but not super high intensity movements. Just moving your body a little bit, especially like say at night after dinner, great time to go out for a walk. It actually helps stabilize your blood sugar levels. That's going to really help just your metabolic state, your metabolic health. For some of us, like waking up in the middle of the night, right? That can be an issue because the blood sugar levels are unstable and kind of all over the place. So that can be a great thing to do to just help stabilize that whole system. So a little walk, even a 10-minute walk, it can be even more powerful than like blood sugar lowering medications. So great way to just stabilize blood sugar and help your body overall. And so next we want to just focus on the opposite of that. You see a lot of this nowadays, right? So sitting really has become an epidemic in the country. Just the average person sits on average 9 to 10 hours a day now. The average teenager spends 5.5 hours just on their phones. So, some even a lot more than that. A lot of us are on technology throughout the day, all day long, and it's our livelihood, it's our job. I guess I get that. Like you can't, it's how we're putting food on the table, but but mitigating some of that can make a huge impact too. And so, but maybe even more important, how that actually impacts our overall physical health and actually impacts our spine. So what happens when we're constantly sitting, even if you're trying to use the best posture possible, like a lot of people end up here, right? Next time you're out, just watch the kids. They're literally like this, walking around, right? Like we're quite literally de-evolving to be on all fours again here pretty soon. And it's going to catch up. I already see it catching up. Growing up, I don't remember like my friends, teenagers, like having such issues. Neck issues, back issues, headaches, migraines all the time. I didn't even know what migraines were when I was a kid. And now we see lots and lots of kids come through the doors with those things, and it's like normal, it doesn't even seem like a big deal. They're like, oh yeah, they've had these for a few years. I'm like, what? Like, how did they even pay attention in school? But yeah, I mean, it's become an epidemic as we start to lose that natural posture, and we're here. Your head weighs about as much as a bowling ball, so imagine carrying that bowling ball out in front of you all day long, right? Like, how long would you last right here, right? Probably not long. If you're carrying it close to you, you last a lot longer, right? Like when it's close to your center of gravity. So when your head is up and above your shoulders, it takes a lot of stress off your spine. So just due to physics and gravity and the weight of your head, every inch that your head goes forward, it adds about 10 more pounds of force on your spine. So say your head is even 3 inches forward, it's a ton of stress being on your spine, crushing, essentially the nervous system that goes through. You got 100 million nerves about the size of your pinky that go through your spinal cord. So 100 million nerves sending those signals out to the rest of your body, controlling your heart, your lungs, your thyroid, your digestive system. Your hormones are regulated by your nervous system. Really everything is regulated by that. And so when people are here all day long and they've got headaches, migraines, they have trouble even thinking, like concentration issues, because they have so much stress on their nervous system. It keeps your nervous system in that fight or flight state. You guys have heard that before, right? Your sympathetic state. So when your body's in that fight or flight state, because there's constant pressure on those nerves, your body's not worried about healing or functioning properly. It's just going to be in a stress state, and there's no amount of Tylenol or Advil or whatever to offset that, right? So it's just really putting a Band-Aid on things. And what happens is you have a lot of important control centers, especially in the very top part of your spine. So this very top bone here is called your C1, your atlas. The next one down is called your C2, your axis. So your atlas, meaning it's holding up the world, right? There's a fun fact. I haven't said that one in a while. So your C1 is the very top bone in your spine. It's literally holding up the world, your world, right? Like that's how our body interprets and knows what's going on in the world, and responding with the environment, allowing your body to actually make adaptations and changes. And so what happens is, especially in that top part of the spine, and if we're going to swing this all the way back to sleep now, you have this nerve called your vagus nerve. So your vagus nerve is, vagus means wandering, so it's your wandering nerve. It actually, it controls every aspect of your body, essentially, and it comes from the very top part of your spine. And so that vagus nerve has a lot of different functions. It controls like the parasympathetic side of your nervous system, so how your body can actually heal and digest properly and respond to stress better. It's helping decrease your vascular tone, so it helps your blood flow throughout your body easier, and lowering your blood pressure, regulate your liver and gut function, decreasing your heart rate. So so many cool things, right? That and so that's why people sometimes when they start care, I might not know about maybe their blood pressure issues. Some people just don't tell me, but they come in a couple months later and say, "Hey, is it weird that I don't need my blood pressure is regulated? I don't need my blood pressure medications anymore." And I'm like, it's not weird. It's great. That's awesome. High five. Your body's actually healing and functioning like it should, because we've taken pressure off those nerves. So if we take stress off your vagus nerve, that nerve that's actually controlling all those functions, then your body can actually do what it's supposed to do. So that's why we care so much about your spine, right? So you guys have heard the story before, but maybe not some of those details, right? I know maybe we're talking about the weather, what's going on the weekend, but there's actually a lot more going on when it comes to when we're taking care of your spine. And so that's why I get excited when you get a good adjustment, and I'm like, yes, power's on. That's what I'm talking about. Your body is literally functioning and healing better, and your body's able to regulate your health a lot easier. So some other things that happen is that your vagus nerve actually impacts your deep sleep. It also lowers cortisol and dampens that fight or flight response, and it even has anti-inflammatory impacts on your body. So it stimulates something called your cholinergic anti-inflammatory pathway. Anybody want to study that or go deeper? Okay, no, we'll leave that. Just take my word for it. It's anti-inflammatory. Okay, you guys have heard those words before. So really helpful and powerful for your body to naturally do those things, right? things that people pay a lot of money for when it comes to like trying to supplement, or they have procedures out there where they implant even stimulation devices at the base of your brainstem to stimulate that nerve, right? So like when that's not the cause, right? Like the pressure and stress on those nerves is the cause. So
And it's only up here,
yeah, that's your vagus nerve.
only at that.
Yeah, that's one particular nerve. There's other ones. You have other parasympathetic nerves, especially in your lower back and sacral area too. So the lower back that go to your digestive system and other areas too. So, yeah. So enough nerding out. That's why we, take X-rays and look at these things, because people come in with those exact issues. Like this is when I'll cover that up. Daniel first came in, had issues with, I met him at a gym, so he was having a problem like just doing bench press, like he was really trying to get strong, look good for the summer, he was really excited about that, but was having a tough time with a lot of his exercises and movements, and he worked IT, so he's at a computer a lot, and had, a long time ago, had been in like a snowboarding, probably a handful of snowboarding accidents, but one in particular that really messed him up. Never really got it fixed, and then it was just like really catching up to him later. So this was like when he first came in. You guys are well rehearsed on this at this point, right? So we want to see a nice curve in the spine. You see what it's doing? It's going the opposite way, right? So there's actually technically a negative curve going on in his neck. And so what that was doing was stretching his spinal cord and putting a lot of stress and tension on that system. And so, yeah, of course he would have neck tension, tightness, pain, trouble moving. Things would get locked up all the time, and he couldn't turn. He had to do the whole body turn, and checking for blind spots and things like that. But what also was, he came in, started getting care. Spine was really improving. Got his spine into here. This was, just a few months into care. And so these are the things we love to see. Body was functioning better, moving better, and just really, really doing good. But what he didn't tell me was that he was only able to really sleep a few hours a night, a few hours at a time. Just really disrupted, just really messing up a lot of his life. And this is kind of honestly one of the most common things we hear about is people improving their overall sleep when they start under care, just because your body's able to finally get in that parasympathetic state, finally able to relax. And so that's why it's important to keep up with the adjustments, right? Take stress off your spinal cord, but also do your home care, right? So I can't follow you around 168 hours out of the week. So doing a little of your home care goes a long way. It's kind of like brushing and flossing your teeth. So that's why we have all of that. All right, so we're going to keep trucking along. We got a lot of good stuff to cover here. So this would be something a lot of you can think about, is just improving your ergonomics. Lots of helpful resources out there, but basically just being able to put yourself in a better position throughout the day. When you're sleeping, these are common questions we have as well. This can just kind of depend on who you are. If you are a side sleeper, certainly want to support your head and keep it neutral with your spine. Keep your hips and pelvis balanced. A lot of people do really well with they even sell special pillows, but even just a regular pillow between your legs to keep your hips from collapsing. A lot of people do well just even with a body pillow, so being able to hug a body pillow right on your side so that your shoulders don't collapse too. If you're on your back, ideally you want to support that good curve in your neck as well. We actually, our front desk, the girls actually do special custom pillow fittings. I guess a lot of people don't know that we do that, but if we're looking for a new pillow, that's kind of the best way to do it. They actually measure your shoulders and measure your head for the proper pillow to be sleeping on. So that's an easy thing to improve. And then something else you can do is just throw in some what we call movement snacks throughout the day. So even if you're on a meeting, you can get up, move around, bend over, do a couple squats, any type of movement, getting that blood flow going is really helpful and will help your sleep overall. So we're going to go over a few really important, we'll call them levers. So ways that you can really leverage your sleep and your ability to get good sleep, the first thing is going to be light. So somebody had mentioned it earlier, the light, your phones, the TV, your lights in your house, all of that is important. Our body naturally goes through certain, like I said, cycles throughout the day, melatonin cycles, that actually starts in the morning. So one of the most important things you can do, even according to a lot of neuroscientists out there, maybe some of you even like listen to Andrew Huberman, he's really big on this, is that as soon as the sun comes up in the morning, it doesn't, maybe not even necessarily within the first 30 minutes of you waking up, but like when the sun first comes up, that direct sunlight, when it's just over the horizon, is some of the most powerful stimulating thing for your circadian rhythms and your own melatonin production, your own melatonin cycling. So it actually turns those specific rays of light at that time of day, right in the morning, inhibit your body's natural melatonin. So like your body stops producing it, and you release more serotonin. So it's another neurotransmitter that helps you actually feel good and happy. So that's a good thing. And actually sets you up for producing more melatonin 12 to 14 hours later. So you actually start producing your own melatonin naturally later in the day, about, in the evening when you're trying to get ready for bed. So your body naturally starts calming down a lot easier when you get that sunlight in right away. So then the next thing that we can do to help that at night, because only in recent history have we come up with LED lights, right? Like it's hard to even find, remember incandescent bulbs, right? Like those are actually good for, a lot better for our eyesight than the LED lights. So our modern day lighting is really harsh on our eyes, especially at night. It's a lot of blue wavelengths. If you guys, and then there's a lot of flicker in our lights too, especially these types of lights. Like if you put your phone on slow-mo and put it up to a light, the lights are like flashing super rapidly. So we don't really see that right now, but like that flickering is really hard on our eyes too. Same with all our screens and everything like that. So at night we want to protect that, our system, our melatonin system. So ways we can do that is, yes, turning off screens, especially like an hour before bed would be ideal. So 1 hour before bed doing that. Doing some easy things you can do is replace the light bulb. So there's amber lights that you can get, and low flicker lights, or low blue lights would be ideal things to put in some of your lamps. Without going through all the nerdy neuroscience, like light that is lower is actually a lot easier on our eyes and helpful for our brains and melatonin. If the light's coming from down low rather than like ceiling lights. So like the can lights that you have at home, I wouldn't turn those on at night. So yeah, and once you start doing this stuff, you won't ever do it again, because it's like it's jarring. Like you just don't like it. Then you can also help yourself out, even by, anybody gotten a pair or seen people wearing these nerdy glasses? So yeah, so you can actually buy blue light blocking glasses. There's some that are helpful during the day for like screens, but these ones are helpful at night. So if you get red ones, it blocks out all blue light, and so that mimics what I guess we'll say our ancestors have, evolved to or utilized for eons, right? Like just being in an ambient light, or firelight, or just no light, right? Like, so very low light, very warm light. So the red light glasses can block out a lot of those harsh blue lights, and it's even helpful with some of the screens. So like, so those are easy things that you can do. Again, just getting outside. Another little trick is you do have to view the sunlight not through windows. We'll say that. Without, you're like driving to work, that doesn't necessarily count. It counts a little bit, but not completely. Like windows, any type of window actually blocks some of the photons that you need and doesn't allow for the same response. So you actually need just straight, direct light in the morning. So another thing that we need to address is temperature. So temperature, yeah. I don't know about this one either. Just kidding. So, yeah, just see if you guys are paying attention, really. So this is a fun challenge, we'll say, for a lot of people, is to see if you can manage a little bit of a cold blast in the morning. It really does give you that shock factor. I mean, yeah, it's nice having that warm shower, but just even turn that cold water on for just a second can really wake you up. I mean, I prefer technically like doing cold baths or like jump or going into a cold plunge type thing. The cold shower, I've never gotten used to that, nor do I like it. I don't even do that one. But yeah, cold water, or how you can hack this actually. Now that I think about it, they've shown similar responses, because what happens when you go in cold water, you can actually get a good neurological response. Yes, it does make you more alert and produces some, adrenaline and things like that, and epinephrine, but it does have actually a parasympathetic response, activates that vagus nerve a little bit that we were talking about. But you can do this by just putting cold water. So I put a bin with just cold water, ice cube, like really cold water, and just put your face in it. So you can have pretty much the same response just by putting your face in cold water. So that's easier than doing a cold shower sometimes. So while you sleep, and this is a little more energy efficient at this time of year, but turning down the temperature is an easy thing to do. Makes a big difference in your overall sleep quality. Because like I had mentioned before, your body needs to cool down a little bit to sleep well, and there's a lot of reasons for that, but cooling it down to like 65, 68 would be closer to ideal. I couldn't find a picture with that apparently. So that's an easy one to do. Even just closing your bedroom door and just opening up the windows and getting some fresh air circulating through is an easy way to cool things down this time of year, but also bring in just better natural air. And then at night, so later in the day, using a warm shower or bath is the time to really do that. Warming up your body kind of has a rebound effect, because then your body actually cools down. It gets into a relaxed state, and your body actually cools down easier after like a warm bath or a sauna. Has anybody been doing sauna lately? Any sauna goers? Oh, okay. So sauna, this would be what the Finnish would call your poor man's pharmacy, for a good reason, because it just has a dramatic impact on your body's physiology. So just doing sauna a few days a week, I mean, is far more powerful than most pharmaceuticals could ever be. I mean, let alone like a 40% reduced chance of all-cause mortality, all-cause death. And doing a sauna a few times a week, that study was done it was a 19-minute session, so say 20 minutes at about 170, 180 degrees. So it can even mimic like light exercise or cardio exercise, because your heart rate goes up a little bit, and it lowers levels of Alzheimer's risk, dementia, cardiovascular issues, cancer, all sorts of things. So just getting warm is a good thing at night. Helps muscle recovery, sleep quality, all sorts of things. Anybody tried this yet? No mouth tapers around here? So, one thing that's actually really important that a lot of people really never think about is how important it is for us to actually nasal breathe. So breathe through our nose. We were designed that way. It traps more pathogens. It warms the air circulating into your lungs rather than just mouth breathing. So like just breathing with your mouth open. And so a lot of people just have never thought about that. Breathing through your nose also improves like nitric oxide production significantly. So nitric oxide is your body's own gas compound that helps open up and dilate blood vessels, so your blood can circulate through your body a lot easier, get to your brain easier, help with sleep a lot better. And so when you spend about a third of your life in bed, spending that time nasal breathing is really, really powerful, really helpful. So this is a good way to like a lot of people tend to mouth breathe when they are sleeping. It can be due to different reasons, but mouth taping can retrain you to just nasal breathe naturally. And so it kind of forces you into that state. And really, lots of studies actually showing improved sleep quality and things like that. So it's cheap, a really cheap way to improve your sleep quality as well. Like way cheaper than just going straight to getting like this, sleep apnea machines and stuff that sometimes docs are pretty quick to like slap you on. Just changing how you breathe can make a huge difference in snoring and things like that. Where? Huh? Where do you get it? Yeah, just duct tape. Actually, you probably could. Yeah, well, it's tough because there are cheaper things you can do. There's specific mouth tape that they sell for quite a bit. Do you use like anything special?
I use just medical tape because then it doesn't hurt when you rip it off your lip. It's very soft.
Target just have never.
You can find it at Target.
Yeah, Amazon, like
It's really cheap.
they're all over the place now. There's some that are more expensive than they need to be. All right, and then we're gonna finish things off with foods. So how we can address nutrition to help our sleep better. And the cool thing with this is it's also good for everything else too. Hitting all your other health goals. So there's going to be some other relatable things here, things that we've covered before. Like, we've talked about this before, right? Kind of a no-brainer for a lot of us that just eating real foods that God put on this planet is just an easy way to think about it, right? Like anything that was made in a laboratory or a factory or, that was created by man is probably not ideal. We do much better when we eat food that either came from the earth or ate things that came from the earth. So things like when we incorporate more processed foods into our diet, especially the really synthetic things like the artificials and dyes and additives, preservatives, some of those can disrupt serotonin and dopamine pathways, which those later on can affect things like sleep, mood, alertness, drive, but can also create more anxiety and impact like melatonin production. So I think that's become more mainstream, or more people are talking about that now. It used to be kind of woo-woo, if that artificial dyes were causing kids to have, ADHD or, focus issues, but there are studies to help support that. They impact, processed foods alone also impact like your gut health, your microbiome, so all the bacteria in your gut, and 95% of your serotonin is produced in your gut, 80% of your dopamine, 70% of your immune system is all located in and around your gut. And like I said, now we've discovered most of your melatonin, by far most of your melatonin is produced in your gut, not in your pineal gland like they used to think. So, so impacting your gut health has a huge implication on all those neurotransmitters and helping your body relax and actually get a good restful night's sleep. So, and then another thing we've talked a lot about in the office is just using much better oils and fats, so like industrial seed oils, so like your canola, vegetable, soybean, safflower, sunflower, peanut, soybean, like all those types of oils that a lot of times are marketed to be healthy can have other impacts on your overall health. So they tend to be more inflammatory for the body, more inflammatory for the gut and brain nervous system. There happens to be a couple research studies out showing how that can impact shorter sleep time by raising inflammation levels. And then of course, like we talked about before, managing like blood sugar swings. So like thinking about the amount of carbs and sugars that we're taking. I mean, quite honestly, a lot of this country's health issues could be solved if we just took out a lot of the sugar and refined like simple carbs that we're consuming. a family back in the early 1900s would consume about a 5-pound bag of sugar, and an entire 5-pound bag for a whole family. Now it's about 150 pounds of sugar per person per year, and that's just added sugars. That's not counting carbs. That's not counting high fructose corn syrup. That's not counting other types of sugars either. So that's a lot of sugar for your body to process, and all that sugar impacts your metabolic health. It impacts weight. It impacts your sleep and your ability to sleep easier. Like evening sugar swings lead to like hypoglycemia later, so like a dip in blood sugar, and that brings up your cortisol levels, and so cortisol wakes you up. Like you should have natural cortisol spikes in the morning, like 6 to 8 a.m. to help you get up. It's not so good when it's at 2 or 3 a.m. and you're trying to sleep, and all of a sudden you're up, you're awake, like what's going on? Why can't I get back to sleep? So that excess sugar and things at night can make a big impact. Then, of course, there are certainly other things that can affect that. So we just want to eat whole, natural, real foods. We were truly provided with all the things that we need just naturally. The closer we can get to how those foods should be grown or raised, the better, the healthier it'll be. So like a lot of times going with the more organic options or local options. Ideally, you're going to get more nutrient-dense foods. The pasture-raised fish, pasture-raised meats, pasture-raised eggs are going to be more nutrient-dense and have things that are going to help you sleep better. And again, so here's all sorts of reasons to eat whole foods. These are things you're going to find in real foods, like antioxidants that are going to be in especially a lot of your colorful foods. So think your vegetables and fruits. They're going to protect a lot of free radicals, protect your brain. We need good, healthy fats to help reduce inflammation in the body, and all these different things that you guys hear a lot about. Even like fermented foods to support your gut bacteria to help too.
I got to get going. I have a question. I have a hard time staying asleep. What do you do about that?
Yeah, so a lot of these things will help for sure, especially more of the food.
All those things?
Yeah. I'm going to try to wrap up in like 15 minutes so we can get you guys out of here. Yeah, if you got maybe you could set a little extra time aside to meet with one of the docs too, and you can address those things a little more specifically. So things we can do with food as well is a lot of these nutrients are going to help build the building blocks you need for sleep. I'm going to get a little further along here. So a couple like evening, we'll call them hacks when it comes to food, is avoiding a lot of like high histamine foods. So actually there's so a lot of these foods can like wake us up at night as well, like having higher levels of histamine, all sorts of different things that can happen, but those can impact our sleep sometimes when you like eat these later in the day or at night. So like especially your more aged cheeses, smoked fish, fermented drinks, things like that can have an impact. Having like just lighter warm cooked foods in the evening can help. Low inflammation meals before bed can be really helpful as well, whether they're using some more spices and good fats in your routine. And then stop drinking water maybe in at least an hour and a half before bed, so you're not waking yourself up a few times in the middle of the night. Your goal would be to maybe wake up once in the middle of the night. If you're doing more than that, then maybe change around some of those hydration times. And so some other things that you can focus on doing is during the day, we'll just say like even in the evening doing like higher protein and lower carb. It's going to stabilize your blood sugar a little better. It's also just going to support healing processes a little more. If you've had a really stressful or like you've worked out a lot or a lot of movement in your day, and then maybe like incorporating some more carbs can be helpful. And actually, like right before bed, just doing like a little teaspoon of like honey can be really helpful. So that's helped a lot of people actually. Just if you've been waking up in the middle of the night because of that like low glycemia, hypoglycemia, a little bit of honey can help balance that in the middle of the night. So that's another trick you can also throw in the mix. We don't in the morning. Maybe that's when we try, incorporating good sources of protein, but also maybe that's where you have more of the carbs that you'd want. So that could just help our circadian rhythm throughout the day. And also just eating enough can be helpful too. That's helped a lot of people's issues, is just eating enough. A lot of us get stuck in the mindset that we shouldn't eat a lot, like that's gonna make us fat. But like if you eat the right things, it's pretty hard to go too wrong eating the right things. And you guys maybe, I didn't bring it out here, but maybe you guys have this book, the 5 Essentials book, right? So one of the really helpful sections is in the back. This is just where it gets straight to the point. I would look into doing the core plan for sure, but if you feel like you really need to just turn things around quick, the advanced plan is something that I would focus in on. And they have like meal plans so you can get an idea of what to look at, shopping lists. So all of that's right in there. Just going back to the back of the appendix is where that section is and would be super helpful. So caffeine, somebody mentioned caffeine earlier, right? So most of us, and this is kind of a genetic thing in terms of how quickly we actually break down caffeine. So I would be what you call a slow metabolizer. So I don't need much caffeine to get me going. But that also means like if I drink it later in the day, it's gonna impact my sleep more too. I just metabolize it slower. So for most of us, just a golden rule would be to stop caffeine by like noon. Pretty much, like I would draw it at noon, and if you've been having trouble sleeping, like maybe try that even a little earlier. I would also try to not reach right for the coffee right as soon as you wake up either. That can also screw up some of your cortisol and like circadian rhythm. So giving yourself like at least like a 60-minute window before you do any coffee or caffeine, just have a glass of water, maybe a warm lemon water, to just get your metabolism and flush some of your gut first. Maybe if you feel like you've been having some hormone issues or, again, like kind of more fidgety, anxiety, anxiousness, like having your coffee after food would be more ideal there too. So those would be some of my biggest points on that. We could do an entire seminar just on coffee alone, but doing my best. So this would be like a good sample day. And again, if taking pictures is always good too, but starting your morning with something that's nutrient dense and not just carb heavy, not like cereal or just toast or just a bagel. So that can be a game changer for most people, is starting with something that's going to fulfill you, satiate you, give you some protein to utilize and run on. Some good healthy fats and a good mix of like healthy complex carbs would be ideal as well. Lunch, I like to do things that are just like fresh. Maybe some more like raw veggies or just leftovers really. Dinner is where I tend to just do like more cooked meals, just maybe because I have more actually time to do that. And that's where I make leftovers for the next day. Before bed, this can be a good time to like create more rituals here, but like at night, we tend to do like different like tinctures or like drinks it's kind of a nice thing to look forward to as well. So you don't want to keep snacking or anything like that, but just to have like a drink that's gonna help kind of satiate that like sweet response, but also help you go to sleep easier. So you could do something as easy as just again like warm lemon water with like maybe some ginger and turmeric. Sometimes used to make like more golden milks. I think I actually have some of these here somewhere. I do have them later actually, but we'll save that for a couple slides. But yeah, there's definitely other things you can do that help with sleep. So I would say this is a big one for a lot of people. Is like, for the longest time, I've just continuously hear that like a glass of wine was a good way to wind down and a good way to like put you to sleep. And again, this is kind of like the sleep drugs, sleep medications, is that it'll knock you out, right? Like it'll help put you to sleep. It helps activate that GABA response. But within a few hours, your body metabolizes that more and produces more of a cortisol rise after that. So it interrupts those sleep stages later down the line. So even a little bit of alcohol can impact your sleep negatively. And I mean, really, most studies show that any amount of alcohol just really isn't good for us anyway. A lot of that was actually marketing by the alcohol industry. Big surprise, right? Yeah, you can get a lot more resveratrol or things like that are in wine from other sources. But if you are going to have a drink, like ideally, if you're trying to work on your sleep, ideally you'd have it just earlier in the day and let your body metabolize it, and then you can sleep a little more normally.
So drink before work?
Yeah, before work, great. Lunch hour. Yeah, just that's smart. It's just smart. My doctor said. So. THC, another one that's floating around. It has not the same, but we'll say more or less a similar effect on sleep, just interrupts things. CBD, yeah.
Where do you shop for groceries?
Food.
Just curious. I'm serious.
I still shop like I'm in college. Like I still shop deals. I will go to different stores and just buy what's
Do you
on
still
sale.
shop at like Cub and stuff like that? Because
I don't know.
trust food anywhere.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, mostly Whole Foods, the Co-op. I mean, I would say the Co-op the most, Whole Foods, and then Costco.
Aldi?
Sometimes Aldi's got some nice little finds. I don't like online, but yeah, I have a booth at a farmer's market, so yeah, I go and buy some from them. That's the ideal for sure. Yeah, I just was there last week. It's good. Yeah, so that's good.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there's plenty of other ways to support sleep. I would say like these are maybe the more foundational things. So making sure that we're getting plenty of vitamin D. It's a lot harder nowadays. So supplementing with that can be useful, especially in northern hemispheres. Even if you were to go outside on a sunny day right now, we just don't get the level of UV that your body requires to convert cholesterol into vitamin D. So that can be helpful. Magnesium, 60 to 80% of the population is deficient in magnesium, so that is one that is worth supplementing with, at least rotating through that every once in a while. So that can be super helpful. Let's say omega-3s, ashwagandha some of these are like chamomile. You guys heard of chamomile tea, right? Like that's a pretty common one. There's all sorts of cool ways that these actually impact sleep. There's a lot more in-depth ones that are also out there that it's just kind of cool seeing how these different things from nature can impact our physiology, our health differently. So that's kind of why I put up all of that. The nice thing is that like some of these are together, sometimes in certain products. So like, teas are a common thing. Things that I would look for is like, I like loose leaf tea, if I do tea. Tea bags tend to be, well, there are decent ones out there, but a lot of them are actually filled with different plastics and chlorinated, and yeah, so like, usually like loose leaf tea in your own like tea thing is a way better way of doing it. And I think they're more potent too. You can get like just better quality tea like that. There's other things out there like mushroom coffees and mushroom even like hot chocolate. So like different mushrooms have different adaptogenic or good benefits for our system. We don't have time to go into that. So like I would make sometimes things like a golden milk. So like I would use a little bit of coconut water, a little bit of coconut milk, some turmeric, dash of black pepper, a little ginger, some really powerful antioxidants, and things that just kind of help mellow the body as well. So that's and maybe a little collagen in there too. Maybe some bone broth. Bone broth's a great thing to do. Yeah.
Really cooking up something.
I shouldn't maybe say this, but I was going to make some for all of you today. I didn't quite get around to it. Sorry to shoot. Yeah, that probably would have bought me another 20 minutes because I really need at least an extra one. I will say a couple things that could help you guys. I mean, like our sleep and mood formula does have some of these compounds in there together. This would be a great one to like get your sleep back on track. This one compounds a few different things that really help with sleep. It's got some good things that work together. We have an adrenal mix. This one's really cool. This one's got a lot of really interesting things in here. I was like halfway done researching what was in here, and then I was like, no, I'm going to get myself one. So I got myself one. But the nice thing is this Black Friday, so we actually have a sleep stack for you guys that we put together. So this has got your magnesium that I talked about. It's got this adrenal balance. So this one really helps your stress response in your body. So it's got a lot of powerful things for your stress response, like holy basil, ashwagandha, rhodiola, ginseng. That's going to help with blood flow through the body too. It's got methionine, L-theanine, so like that's a very calming compound as well. So everywhere it's got Black Friday going on right now, but ours is for your health, so obviously it's way more important. So, what's that? Take it with food. I would say with the adrenal balance, I would take that like around food, whether it's before or after. Yeah, the other one's not as important. Our magnesium is really cool because it's got a few different forms that really help with. So like magnesium glycinate is a powerful stimulant to actually help your body naturally cool, and so that's a good one. It's a good one to take at night. It helps your body naturally calm down. Magnesium itself is used in 325 different metabolic processes in the body, so your body needs magnesium. And then it's got other forms that are helpful for your muscle function as well. And then it's got a blend of different mushrooms. So in particular for like sleep, like reishi mushroom is really helpful for like calming and helping balance like stress responses in the body. Same with chaga. Yeah, there's some good. So it's kind of nice because you're getting like a 5-for-1 with this magnesium. A lot of magnesium you'd find out on the market just has magnesium, and a lot of them are just like rock salts. They're not even helpful for the body, whereas this one's got good forms of it. So
It helps with restless legs.
yeah, oh yeah, zinc and magnesium would be helpful with that. Yeah.
So I can't tolerate oral magnesium generally.
Yeah.
Is this something that should be
Well,
a little
if
easier tolerated?
it could be, that's for sure. Or you could do like a topical one, like topical rub would probably be easier for you. So, yeah, just a couple things to end with here. A really important thing you could do is just create your own sleep sanctuary. I would say this is where some of us get into trouble when we have a TV in our bedroom, we got our phone going, we're doing work in our bed, and like then it just becomes just another place that we just hang out, right? Like I would create your bedroom to be a relaxing hygge place. And so cool lights, dim lights.
Can you do the sleep apnea? You had sleep apnea?
Oh yeah.
Can you just do?
Yes.
I have that.
Oh yeah. If you want, you can come up after and we could talk about that. Yeah. A lot of the fixes are things that we kind of already talked about, or like things to address. It's not. Sleep apnea can be a little more difficult, or like more in depth though. Sometimes there's other factors involved. One thing that you can do is just use some essential oils as well. Those are helpful. Like lavender is a very calming oil. Some of the more grounding, earthing oils are helpful too, like cedar wood or Betacucci or Vetiver. Vetiver is one of my favorite ones. They've even, yeah. So I would try to like have no electronics or like blinking, flashing lights or things like that. And then creating a routine can be super helpful. So this is like, again, the not so sexy stuff, but like the stuff that makes the biggest difference. So prepping for the next day, so laying out all the things that you need, just because then you're not stressing about the next day. Like you have it all ready to go. You know that when you wake up, you can just head out the door. If you need to, you can actually enjoy your morning without like scrambling around. Maybe setting your own bedtime, at least a window that you're going to be in bed. Again, doing like a tea or a tonic at night with the magnesium supplements. That would be a great time to take the magnesium ones. Avoiding like blue light, getting all the warmer lights going, turning off the blue lights and like your phones and TVs at least half hour before bed. One study showed that every hour that you watch like blue light your screens suppresses your melatonin production for 30 minutes. So some of us, when we're binging on Netflix for 4 hours, like you think about how that's impacting your sleep every night. Yeah, so some gentle movement. This is, I need to get back. It's like all this advice, I don't do it perfectly, and none of us are perfect either, and you shouldn't be expecting or shooting for perfection, but this is something that really helped me like get some of the best sleep that I was doing, like stretching, just any type of general stretching, and utilizing like breath work. So like just calm breathing, like your inhale is actually shorter than your exhale. So maybe you inhale for 4, hold it for 4, and then exhale for 6. Easy way to calm your nervous system. Get a little movement, little stretching. It's actually meditative in a way. So there's some really good apps to help with that. You can, again, well, maybe have your red light lenses on while you're doing that. But yeah, that can be helpful. Reading just a paper book. Go figure. A fictional book can be really helpful in just calming your mind and taking your mind off of things. They found that journaling, gratitude is one of the most powerful states we can be in, just behind forgiveness, really. So like putting yourself in gratitude, in a state of gratitude before you go to sleep, might be the biggest positive neurological response that you can have. And then there's other ways to like calm your mind as well. There's what they call binaural beats. So you can even find those for free on YouTube or certain apps out there. That's just, without getting into it, that might be one you just need to research, but like it's a way of like helping your brain sync differently and like meditate differently. There's also different like sleep frequencies you can listen to that are calming as well. So those would be some easy things you can try before bed as well, and
Is that just
it can help.
just to get to sleep, or does that help later on as well?
To get to sleep. Some of those you can do like while you're sleeping too. Yeah, so that's kind of next level. So yeah, I would take take a little inventory on where you're at. We got ways you can fill out your own sleep routine, how you're going to change up. Even just a few things can make a big difference. And we've got River here tonight, still with us, I think, unless she's practicing her sleep routine. Yeah, she's like, we're never having Dr. Justin talk again. He keeps going. He just keeps going and going. Well, we'll probably sell out of most stuff, but you guys are kind of ahead of the Black Friday schedule here. So, and if we're out of something, we can always order it. But she's taking any questions, but we also got a basket up here if you want to save a bunch of money. You can drop this in there. You can just, all you have to do is like fill out your name on the back and what you'd want, and the card that you want us to put it on. We probably have most of your cards on file. So I would say the sleep thing's huge. Another good, tough call. I would say I would do the gut health one before the detox one, for if you haven't done either. Like the gut health would be a great thing to start with. If you've been looking for a way to get a